In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely.
You are listening live to the Vito and Vito Show. Disrespectful to the executive branch.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
Don't sign the damn deal, and the president will...
Therefore, I do not believe that the majority can vote a man's life or property or freedom away from him.
And we're live here on the Vito and Vito Show. I'm Vito.
And I'm Vito.
And we want to welcome you here live to the Vito and Vito Show, live from the basement of the Empire State Building. The basement, not the top floor, not the first floor.
But we can't afford that.
We can't afford it. So we're in the basement. We're here illegally. We're squatting. We're bringing you the best in conservative talk. Vito in Brooklyn.
It's nothing but the truth.
Give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Vito and Vito Show. And check out our website, www.vitoandvito.com, for network listings, past articles, and some of our newest episodes. Vito, what a day.
Whoa.
Your
boy, Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, my boy. Yeah, all right. I can't stand that man.
Our friend from California decides to drop out. That's what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
The majority leader, the front runner for the speakership, because our friend John Boehner said he's resigning at the end of October. So the front runner, establishment's favorite guy, decided he's not going to run. Apparently nobody wants the job.
Well, apparently there's some rumors circulating, according to Eric Erickson on Twitter, who said that Paul Ryan is jumping in the race. Now, I just want to let everyone know just how chaotic this is. This is chaotic. The fact that there is no current speaker, at least one that's going to take over John Boehner's place.
It's not clear-cut.
It's baffling. I mean, normally this stuff should be like already decided upon, and conservatives should be screaming, and we should be like, no, this is awful, this is awful.
Well, this necessarily isn't a bad sign.
No, this is a great sign in the conservative movement, because finally, the grassroots are making noise. And we're making noise in such a positive way that for somebody that we don't want in the speakership, it's not just going to stop at us complaining, but finally, Vito, we're finally taking some action here and seeing that if you don't have the full support of the Republican Party, if you don't have full support of conservatives, you're not going to be able to do your job effectively as Speaker of the House. Just look at John Boehner. He was a disaster. He had no support from conservatives. He had no support from those on the principled right. And instead, the guy catered to the left and catered to the middle. As a result, he's got to step down. His legacy's in tarnishes. He's a disaster-looking speaker. He's orange one day. The next day, he smells like cigarettes. The next day, he's got liquor coming out of his eyes.
He's an Oompa Loompa. We get it. But you think this would be so easy for the establishment leadership to hand over the leadership to the next guy in line, who would be Kevin McCarthy. But no, we decided to shake things up a bit.
Because that's the epitome of the conservative movement. Shaking things up. We don't like the status quo. And we're seeing a change, hopefully in the better. It's still too early to tell. But for someone of that caliber, the majority leader of the Republican Party in the House of Representatives, who is supposed to take over the speakership, suddenly drops out of the race on the day of the vote because he knows he is not going to have 100% of the party to back him.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Good job, conservatives. Give yourself a pat on the back and give a high five to the House Freedom Caucus, those 40 to 30 conservative members who were actively fighting against moderate Republicans in the House.
So you might be wondering who the hell is running. Well, the conservative, backed by the House Freedom Caucus, is Daniel Webster.
The congressman out of Florida.
Yes. So he is the conservative, while the establishment, who apparently Boehner personally spoke to, is Paul Ryan, who you're just talking about the rumors is running.
Right.
But he must be debating with himself, because nobody wants this job.
Well, here's the issue about Mr. Paul Ryan. I mean, it's still too early to tell, really, who's jumping in and who's jumping out. But Paul Ryan has a very fishy background. I mean, his position on the Export-Import Bank is something to be looked at. He was a very promising rising conservative star and then fell apart the establishment train. I know he wrote a book. You were telling me this earlier, Vito, with Eric Cantor and Kevin McCarthy.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a book. I saw it in passing and noticed that all three were establishments who fell apart, didn't get elected. Eric Cantor lost the primary and Boehner's never resigning. So the establishment is not the way to go. Obviously, we see this here.
Yeah, because people are pissed.
Yes, principled candidates is what wins. This is what we need, and people realizing America is waking up, and it starts with our elected representatives. And it's good to see somebody in the House that actually, that McCarthy did not get it.
The book is called Young Guns: A New Generation of Conservative Leaders. And it was written by, ready for this? Paul Ryan, Kevin McCarthy, and Eric Cantor. One dropped out of the speaker race the day of the election. One lost to a conservative in Virginia because he was too busy having steak instead of actively campaigning. And the other one is a rhino and cloaking himself in conservative clothing. So when you look at just the general outline of the Republican leadership and those who claim to call themselves conservatives and the young guns in the conservative movement, just look at how disastrous their policies have been. Look at their stances. Look at the hypocrisy that they lie in, and tell me why the hell you would want them as the leadership or in the leadership of the Republican Party. I mean, thank God we finally see change here where Kevin McCarthy, a liberal Republican out of California, is not next in line. This notion of a rotating chair as to who takes over is finally being broken down. I mean, Vito, it's a phenomenal day.
When you said that Paul Ryan is a Democrat in conservative clothing,
Yeah.
I thought of drag.
Great.
Democrat in drag.
Great.
This is what you make me think
Democrats are always in drag, Vito. They're self-described. They claim they love everybody and they're progressive and they love liberalism, but they're really just cloaking themselves.
It's drag.
In that, and they're hiding their true identities. They're hiding the socialism. They're hiding themselves. So Democrats always dress in drag. I find it very funny to jump around.
People in the chat room, which you can go to VitoandVito.com to join the chat, join the people talking about us. No, they're talking about McCarthy. The people are saying, did anyone have dirt on Kevin McCarthy?
Now, that is another big thing that we were going to get to.
Good thing you brought it up.
Oh, it's great. It is great.
There was a rumor going around.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that he had an affair. Well, what else could possibly happen? What else?
What?
Surprise!
I want someone to say, yeah, I was involved in sick orgies. I was there. It was crazy. There was coke everywhere. Hookers, strippers.
I saw him in the Gentleman's Club last week at Nice Voter. I don't know about you. Don't quote me. Do not quote that.
I'll do it. There was glitter. I want a candidate to actively come out and say, oh, yeah, I was there. I seen it all.
Just man up. Say, yeah, I did it.
But supposedly, yes, there are rumors floating around that Kevin McCarthy was having an affair. And apparently they've been doctored. Apparently there's separate rumors going around. It's still, again, too early to tell. But initially, it was originally reported that this was an edited Wikipedia page.
That did not have any sources.
Yeah, that's off of Mediaite. And other rumors are circulating around that certain members in the House knew and they were just sort of holding this against him. I don't know. The point is...
I think the conservative right, Chuck Johnston, wrote something up, which, if you know his work, he's always going after people, exposing people.
Yeah, so there's different things circulating around. The issue here is that if we take McCarthy at his word and ask him, why did he drop out of the race? Just ask him, like they did.
Because he had an affair.
Well, I don't think so. It's an affair.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it's because the man genuinely sees that there is no way to actively govern, and leave behind a good legacy for himself, his family, etc.
So he surrendered.
Right. If you have a split party like you have today.
Well, good. But that's the only answer you can give.
Well, I think that's...
He's not going to say he had an affair.
I don't know about the affair. I think if it was an affair, it would have came out already.
Really?
I think so.
Really?
I do. I think so. Why, you think he'd be hiding it or something? Like it would still...
yeah.
You think it would still be in hiding? I mean, he's all over the news. The guy is trending on Twitter. He's everywhere.
Maybe
my mother even knows Kevin McCarthy.
Okay.
And she don't even follow politics. So what...
Calm down. I might be coming out right now as we speak. Or maybe they threatened, blackmailed him. We're talking about politics, Vito.
I don't know. I
wouldn't be surprised if he killed a man.
If it... He ran over his grandmother for the majority leader spot.
Use a house of cards.
I think that it has to do with the fact that Kevin McCarthy does not have the votes lined up to become speaker. I think it shows you just how powerful the conservative grassroots movement is in this country. And I'm going to take him at his word, and I'm going to read a quote from what Kevin McCarthy said.
Okay.
Quote. This is from Politico. We need somebody to get us 247. And I was never going to be able to get 247.
Now, mind you, that out of the entire House of Representatives, there are 247 Republicans. So he wanted every single Republican to vote for him.
He's got high standards.
Okay? This reminds me when Donald Trump was talking about running for governor of New York. He said, I'll only run if I have 100% support. Okay, guy. Okay. But you only need 218 to secure the speakership.
I know.
So...
But you know, Boehner ran last time against Daniel Webster, if you will, because Webster got, back in January, the second most votes.
Wait, that's when Louis Gohmert ran?
When Louis Gohmert ran, back in January of 2015 of this year, when they re-elected John Boehner to the speakership in the new Congress, there was a fight, small fight, but a fight nonetheless between a small handful of conservatives.
There's a presence.
Right.
And we made noise.
To now, I think we're effectively making change, where we're not allowing the next in line to take over. This notion of a monarchy, if you will.
Revolution.
Yeah, I mean, finally, we're seeing something take hold.
Because first, even though the conservatives lost, they made noise, the whole thing. Louis Gohmert's PAC, you saw this in the news months ago, they tried to take over Boehner's seat. But now, we actually made the front runner, McCarthy, who had a legitimate big shot.
Well, here's another issue, too.
To not run, to drop out.
Well, here's another issue, too, I think, why he dropped out. I think it's a multitude of factors. I'll give it to you, unless it's an affair, which then puts my whole theory to shame.
I'm going to go with the affair. I'm going to put money on that.
I'll go with this. If we break it down into the different factors that ruin McCarthy's chances of being Speaker of the House, I think it has to do with the fact that he has a split base. It has to do now, another factor having to do with his mouth. The guy opened his mouth. Do we all remember the interview he did?
The Hillary comment?
Right, on the Sunday morning talk show, when he's talking about how the Benghazi committee was set up effectively to torpedo Hillary Clinton and her chances for the presidency. That is, Vito, I'm telling you, that is so stupid. Like, you should revoke your man card for opening your mouth. Like, I don't know what else you could take away from this man. First of all, I don't think the Benghazi committee really is about Hillary Clinton's political aspirations. I think
just act straight Garrity.
I think it's about genuinely trying to find out the truth in Benghazi. Nothing wrong, nothing crazy about that, nothing immoral, nothing unjust. I think the other issue is when you actively start to look at what Kevin McCarthy said, he's got a point. Hillary Clinton's poll numbers went down because she's lying about Benghazi. That's true. But he frames the argument as if the only reason the committee was set up not was to find the truth, but was to just attack Hillary Clinton. It was a partisan operation. Now, the left has been screaming about this issue because everything that is against them, they think is a partisan operation. Planned Parenthood, the Iran deal, now this with Benghazi.
Ah, sounds staged.
You think he staged it?
Sounds it. I mean, how come on. You put it
I think now you're pushing it. Now you're reading
the stage.
Oh, you're reading too much. You're reading way too much stuff.
No, but think about it. I mean, how? Come on, this was so oblivious. Like, how can you say that and not? I mean, come on. That was way too obvious.
No, I don't think so.
You think it was just like a slip of the tongue?
I think so.
It was worded so greatly.
How many major interviews does Kevin McCarthy get done? I mean, how many times do Vito and Vito quote Kevin McCarthy? We could quote John Boehner.
Vito, you're the House Majority Leader.
Yeah.
You know you have a shot at the speakership.
Okay.
You're a major player.
Right.
You tell me somebody was like, hey, listen, let's brush up your interview skills. Don't say this. Or common sense would say, don't make it sound like we're directly attacking Hillary with the Benghazi
That's what common sense would say, and that's what I think.
Common sense isn't so common. This man screwed up big time.
Yes, but this is the point that I'm trying to get across here. It's that he's not ready for the big time. He's not.
Well, aside from his interview skills, his principles aren't.
Of course. I mean, exactly. His principles suck, so therefore he has he's not going to bring together the Tea Party and principled wing of the party with the Rhino wing of the party. His interview skills are horrendous in that he can't answer a question without putting his foot in his mouth. I mean, it's embarrassing.
Well, he messed up once?
Yeah.
Please. Like Rick Perry did once. Get the guy a break.
Give the guy
like he started.
It ultimately cost Rick Perry the presidency.
Great. Okay. This is what you need a teleprompter, you know?
And, I think if you look again at the general reasons why McCarthy stepped down, I think it's just the truth finally being heard. I think it's people finally waking up.
Yeah, but I don't see the establishment just giving this up. I don't see the establishment just giving this up.
They're not. And this is what John Boehner said. He said he's going to stay as the Speaker of the House until a new Speaker is picked. So now, hey, Mr. John, here's a question for you. You got two guys running. You got Jason Chaffetz, who I'm not too sold on, and Daniel Webster, a patriot from Florida, who I support. Vito supports Nancy Pelosi, but that's beside the point.
I still like Louis Gohmert.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Speaker? What's the problem? Why do you have to wait until the end to find a new speaker? Why do you got to sit in the speakership? What's the reasoning for it? Is it because you don't want to see a conservative win? Why postpone the vote? Why did you postpone the vote today for the Speaker of the House between Jason Chaffetz and Daniel Webster? Why couldn't you hold the vote? Just because your golden goose dropped out means that nobody else should be running for Speaker of the House? You want to postpone the vote, John Boehner? And you want to remain as Speaker of the House and put off your retirement plans to go play golf and smoke in your room all day? Just so that you can get some favorable establishment Rhino Khan sitting in the speakership? Is that why you're trying to get Paul Ryan to run? Why are you so keen, John Boehner, on kissing the feet of Paul Ryan all day today, aching for this man to run? What are the reasonings for it? Because, Vito, I'm baffled.
He's stringing together a new puppet.
Exactly, that's what it is. He's trying to put together... He's trying to put together a team of rhinos that can keep his legacy going. He doesn't want to lose what he has.
You saw Paul Ryan. He didn't want it. Now there's reports saying that he's going to run. So what happened in between those times when he said he's not going to run and he decided to run? You know, John Boehner flew him out. Flew him out. Come over here. And they've been long talk. He's probably promising the world. You know, he's convincing Paul Ryan to run. Yeah. They're the best establishment chance. Because if you have a conservative like Webster or Chaffetz running, right, with the House Freedom Caucus, that's 40 votes in that caucus. Right. Right? So you need 218 to win the speakership. Correct. If you take out, basically, for the establishment to win, if the 40 conservatives vote conservative, they don't have it. They would need 11 conservatives to hop over and vote with the establishment. Right. Or... God forbid, one of the 188 Democrats.
And you know what, Vito? I wouldn't be surprised if right now they're cutting deals. The establishment Republicans are cutting deals with Nancy Pelosi and liberal Democrats in trying to get an establishment Republican to head the speakership of the House. I would not be surprised, Vito, to see that. Because they've done this work before. They've done it with Planned Parenthood. They've done it with the Cromnibus bill. They've done it with the Iran deal. They're going to continue to cut deals. They're going to continue to make us look bad. And they're going to continue to denigrate the country. All in the name of getting things done. Is this what you want when you say getting things done? Is this what you want? Ask yourself that, establishment people. Ask yourself that, Politico. I see this all the time on Politico. We got to get things done. We got to find pragmatic solutions. Is this what you want?
What, just cut deals with the left?
You want to cut deals with people who were against your interest? Please show me in one way, shape, or form how Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. Nancy Pelosi, by the way, when she was Speaker of the House, was one of the most radical leftists to ever speak of the House.
Great. We should work on the interview.
Yeah, whatever. Nancy Pelosi was one of the most liberal speakers of the House in the history of the House of Representatives. Harry Reid is one of the most liberal members of the Democratic Party and one of the most liberal majority leaders in the Senate. Barack Obama is one of the most liberal presidents this country has ever had. Please explain to me, why is it that the right has to cow down, bend over, and run to the middle to meet Democrats halfway? The left always gets what they want. This is what I'm talking about when I argue with people over compromise. This is it. The left gets what they want. They get radicals in office and they run with them. We try to put people who are principled and who are willing to stick to their ideals, just like the left does. Look at Nancy Pelosi. They got Obamacare. And when we try to go ahead and put someone on the right that's willing to do the same thing but with conservative principles, we're considered extremists.
But this is the opportunity to get in a conservative in the leadership.
This is the perfect
opportunity. So it would be devastating if one of the conservatives in that caucus goes over to the other side.
But you know what? This is why they won't do it. Because if they saw what happened today, if you hop over to the other side and vote establishment speaker, you are committing political suicide. You've already signed up with the hardcore, principled members of the House of Representatives. Right. Now you're going to abandon ship after you claim a major victory in letting go of one of the next possible speakers of the House because he was in line.
They'll feel comfortable and safe with the protection of the establishment, especially if they get the leadership.
No, Vito. Because if history serves them right and they are smart people, because I know they're smart people. A lot of them are lawyers. Some are even doctors.
Right, that makes them
businessmen. These are smart people. If they know anything about politics and history, they'll just look towards Eric Cantor and David Brad. You have another thing coming to you. You want another example? Look at John McCain's Senate race right now. He's got two primary opponents of prominence right now.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Molesky, Kelly Ward.
Both who are on the show.
Fighting John McCain. And he's going right after them. He's got the establishment help. He's got the establishment support.
He's won the re-election 300 times.
He's one of the worst senators in the Senate in terms of popularity.
His popularity has decreased over in Arizona. And that's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
To see a conservative take over yet another seat from not just from a Democrat,
right?
From a Democrat who's holding a Republican seat.
Mm-hmm.
But can we see these in general elections, but can we see this in elections in the House?
It's the tough part is, too, because just to refresh your memory, remember when John Boehner attacked conservatives after they voted against him?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the problems that I think a lot of these conservatives are going to have if an establishment speaker gets elected.
Being cast aside,
being delegated to the Post Office Committee, being delegated to the District of Columbia Committee, the worst two committees in the House of Representatives. Being delegated to nonsense committees to where they don't make an impact, their districts are pissed, and they show they can't do anything.
Yeah, this example what happened with people who voted against Bannon the first time.
Ted Yoho, Daniel Webster,
Trey Gowdy.
Yep,
didn't vote because he knows he'll be stripped of the Benghazi committee. And he is a dedicated, passionate patriot who is putting his heart and soul into this because he's not running for Congress again after the Benghazi stuff next election. He's getting this done, bringing justice, and he's finished with government.
This is another thing I just want to hit on before we end up this topic, because we have an interview with author Demetrius Minor coming up. He was a great guest. We have a pre-recorded interview. We're going to play it for you here on the Vito and Vito show. He was great. Wrote a book. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about forget about it in a little bit. But I want to just talk about the prospects of getting Daniel Webster to be actually speaker. Chances are the man will not win. I don't think a lot of people are going to say, wow, we need Daniel Webster. At least on the establishment side. And the number game is unfortunately against conservatives at this point. But does that mean, that we still can't have an impact? Even though Daniel Webster might not win, you can still have enough influence where Republicans in the leadership will have to say one of two things. One, they're either going to have to compromise with Democrats, or two, they're going to have to come over to the right, compromise with those in the House Freedom Caucus, and try to get a much more conservative speaker candidate nominated for the election.
How is the establishment possibly going to win this?
Well, the establishment could try to find somebody who's in the middle, who could bridge the two gaps together. Daniel Webster is going to be tough to win. But if you could keep this going to where now House establishment types have to come over to the right, have to come over to the principled side of the party.
Well, it's always easier for moderates to vote conservative than conservatives to vote moderate.
So then good. So then let those moderates come on over to the right, come on over to conservatives, to libertarians or whatever, and try to get a more principled candidate.
They need the 11 votes.
Yes. So come win 11 votes, not by lying, cheating, and stealing, by banding together in those 40 members.
All 40 of the votes.
Yes.
By selecting the candidate who's endorsed by those 40 candidates.
Exactly. You want the 40 conservative members' votes? You're not going to win without them. So you might as well come on over and try to get someone who's principled enough to win.
In order for that to happen, those 40 conservatives need to stand on principle.
And, well, that's the kicker here.
They can't go rhino on us.
How strong are they? How tough will they be? Can they do it?
Well, this is the test. This is why electing principled conservatives is so key.
Because
the first step is electing the conservatives so they can then get the leadership one at a time, and this time is coming. This is when this happens.
This is when boys and men, the difference between the men and the boys, whatever the stupid expression is.
Great.
This is it, lady. This is what it's about. This is what it's about. This is where the rubber meets the road. Just how principled, you say you're principled, you've shown you are so far. Let's see how far you could go. How long can you carry the torch of liberty for Liberty candidates?
I have to use the bathroom.
You got to be kidding me.
Should we take a break?
We're busy right now. What do you have to use the bathroom for?
Take a break.
Yeah, I'll take a break.
This is why there's breaks.
You know what? Maybe you should go study up because we're busy in a couple of days.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. You should go study up on your new speech.
Why use the bathroom?
What?
I can do two things at once.
Well, you might be asking, what speech are we doing and why does Vito have to use the bathroom? Vito and I are excited to announce the 6th annual Liberty Fest NYC will be taking place Saturday, October 10th and Sunday, October 11th at the Warsaw Concert Hall in Brooklyn, New York, in our own backyard. And that we'll be speaking on October 11th. How cool is that? Liberty Fest NYC is a yearly event that brings together speakers from across the political spectrum, from Republicans to Democrats to libertarians and even anarchists. Vito and I are proud to be part of an event that does not silence folks simply because of a differing view. Liberty Fest NYC welcomes dynamite speakers like former New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson, Jimmy McMillan of the Rent is Too Damn High Party, host of Adam versus the Man, Adam Kokesh, Emmy Award-winning reporter Lionel, and many, many more great speakers to come. Check out www.lfnyc.com, the website www.lfnyc.com for more information on how to purchase tickets and be part of an amazing conference where we can strengthen liberty together. Again, Liberty Fest NYC, October 10th and 11th. That's this weekend at the Warsaw Concert Hall in Brooklyn, New York. Vito and I will be speaking on October 11th, so head on over to www.lfnyc.com to purchase your tickets today. We're going to break. When we return, an interview with author Demetrius Minor on his book Preservation and Purpose, some forget about it moments of the week, and a little bit more on this groundbreaking news, the breaking news of the day. Kevin McCarthy taking a walk from the speakership contest in the House of Representatives. Vito and Vito when we return. Right after.
So what is behind enemy lines anyway?
This is the true story of two friends living in the People's Republic of New York City who work together and have their conversations taped to find out what happens when conservatives stop being politically correct and start getting real. We are Behind Enemy Lines. Watch your wallets. Thursdays at 1 on WNJC, part of the Conservative Commandos Radio Network.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save
your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
Are you among the 64% of Americans who believe our country is going in the wrong direction? If yes, then eVoiceAmerica.com is the political take-action site we've all been waiting for. And it's really free. eVoice America provides your personal list of elected reps every time you log on. This makes it so easy to email your opinions and e-votes on top issues directly to each of our D.C. elected representatives. eVoice then publishes our e-vote majority percentages on top issues to each member of Congress and the media. Now, for the first time in history, we can know what millions of American citizens are telling Congress. No more gridlock. Join the new American majority using eVoiceAmerica.com, putting Americans in control of Congress. Visit eVoiceAmerica.com today. It's free and easy to use. That's eVoiceAmerica.com.
And we're back here on the Vito and Vito Show. Vito, go over to www.vitoandvito.com for network listings, everything about the radio show, our past articles, our new articles, and everything you need to know. Vito, if I'm wrong,
what?
But we have an interview to play.
We have an interview, yes, with author Demetrius Minor. Great kid. He's a millennial.
Mm-hmm.
He was a superstar to have on the show, part of the Millennial Moments here on the Vito and Vito Show. Demetrius Minor, he wrote a book called Preservation and Purpose, and he talks about how millennials in the GOP, or how the GOP can reach out to millennials, and how millennials can relate to the GOP. And it really is a fascinating book because I've been reading some of it. And I find it to be very interesting in the way he approaches both to use his personal life as a way to sort of model how the GOP and its principles affected his life, how conservatism affected his life. And at the same time, he tries to show how there are shortcomings in the Republican platform and Republican ideology. Here's a way we can fix it. He talks about the dark state of America. Look, I'm giving too much away. I want to play the interview. But the book is called Preservation and Purpose by Demetrius Minor. Take a listen. Find out how you could buy the book. We're going to talk about it just after this interview right here on the Vito. Vito and Vito here with this millennial superstar of our new Millennial Moments of the Week. Here he is. He's an author. Yeah, Vito, he writes. And I've been trying since second grade to get this down, but he obviously knows how to write, and he writes great. Here he is, Demetrius Minor, Preservation and Purpose is the book, The Making of a Young Millennial, a manifesto for faith, family, and politics. Welcome to the show, Mr. Minor.
Hey, guys, how you doing? Thank you for having me. It's definitely an honor.
It is a pleasure to have you on. I want to get the people listening. I want them to understand that this book, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not done reading it yet, but I'm almost done with it, and I love everything about this book. I love that it gets down into the nitty-gritties of the issues that the liberals don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about faith. They don't want to talk about family. And they honestly don't want to talk about the answers to the political problems that we see today. This book answers those questions, and it gives you a millennial perspective, the new future, if you will, the new voting bloc. Demetrius, let me ask you this. In a nutshell, can you describe what the book is for our listeners?
Sure, absolutely. Well, the book consists of two parts. The first part is sort of a memoir. And what it is, I just briefly recount a couple of life-altering events who shaped who I am from a political perspective, from a ministerial perspective, and from a spiritual perspective. I'm very raw. I'm very transparent. I'm very open because I believe that millennials are looking for people who are authentic, people that don't just talk the talk but also walk the walk. And so I'm very transparent in order to help some millennials who are struggling with their purpose and trying to find out what they're on earth to do. The second part of the book is a manifesto or a call to action for millennials to be more involved in areas of faith, community, and politics. And it all comes together to tell millennials, look, you are today's voice. You are today's and tomorrow's leaders. And we need you to take upon the mantle of leadership, because if we don't do it, who else will? So that's what the book is about.
Well, this book has been critically acclaimed. I mean, we even had the former press secretary, I believe, of Al Gore comment on the book and about you. How is this book taken from the opposite side, not just the right wing, but the left wing, and people who are critics of this?
Sure, and the person that you're referring to is Christy Setzer. I always tell her that she's my favorite liberal. And I think it's important to show millennials that even with people across the aisle, we can find common ground. For too long, we've seen ourselves shouting at each other at what we don't believe in. But we can find common ground with people who think and live differently than us. I mean, it may be an issue or two, but let's try to focus on that issue. Let's try to come together, because at the end of the day, we all do love America. We may have a different view on how to strengthen America, but we do love this country. And so I'm very thankful for my friend Christy's endorsement, because it shows that we can work across the aisle, we can have common ground, and we can come together to have sensible solutions on how to move America forward.
Mm-hmm. In the book, you talk about how there's an increasingly dark state of America.
Right.
What does that mean? What do you mean increasingly dark? I mean, if anything, I think we're in the total darkness right now. I mean, you have a horrible president, you have a radical left-wing party known as Democrats, and you have the world crumbling at the feet to radical Islam. I think we all already are in a dark place, but you seem to have a glimmer of hope that we can get out of it. Maybe you're more optimistic than I am, and that's a good thing. But explain to us, what is that increasingly dark state of America that we're going in, and can we get out of it?
Well, excuse me. In the book, I give an example of racial divisions, how they have been heightened over the last couple of years. For example, Trayvon Martin, Ferguson, and how there's confusion. There's chaos in our communities and in our nation, and how that millennials, for the most part, are a generation that is seeking solutions. And I see many millennials want to come together. Well, there is darkness in America because people have lost hope, whether it comes to employment, the economy, or in political leadership. And that's why we're currently seeing political outsiders at the top of the polls for our upcoming election. But there is a glimmer of hope. And for perfect example, this past summer, we witnessed racism, hatred, and pure evil in the state of South Carolina with the Charleston shooting. Mm-hmm. But we also saw grace, hope, and forgiveness when the community decided to come together in unity and spread a message of love. And when the families of the victims said that they forgave that shooter, when we saw the governor of South Carolina and people from various sides of the aisle come together to remove a flag that had been so offensive to a certain group of people for so long, that's what America is all about, rising above the challenge, rising above the circumstances, to come together and to heal as a nation. And that does give me hope about the future. That tells me there are people who will not be dismayed, who will not be swayed by the political tides, by the social tides, and by this cultural paradigm shift that we're experiencing as a nation. But there are people who are willing to stay loyal to the principles and to the values that America was founded upon, and that's what gives me hope about America's future.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. Demetrius, let me ask you this. You go into millennials. Obviously, millennials are a big part of your book.
Sure.
Explain to me here for a second, what is the path to getting millennials attracted to the GOP? I always argue that the millennials are libertarian-oriented. I happen to be a libertarian myself. So
Sure.
I like to say that libertarian-oriented minds are the young people. Millennials are libertarian-oriented. They like to be free on the social side, but they don't want to spend all their money and wind up broke like socialists like Bernie Sanders. So the question here is GOP more libertarian, at least the millennials? Are they more libertarian, or are they more conservative in the more social conservative realm? Are they more faithful, belief in God? What is it that is going to spark a millennial revolution in the GOP and get them to be just as excited as they are for Rand Paul to keep that going and going and going?
Sure, that's a good question. And, of course, we're seeing political affiliation and political ideology vary as time goes by. According to some statistics, millennials are socially liberal, but they tend to also be fiscally conservative. Listen, millennials are looking for authenticity. They're looking for someone who says, okay, I'm pro-life, but to be consistent with it. For example, it's more than just saying, hey, I'm pro-life, I'm for the innocence of the unborn child. But I also think it's okay for the state to kill somebody via the death penalty if they choose to. Because that goes against in my opinion, it goes against the principles of being pro-life and limited government. You have to make it personal. This is why liberals and progressives excel at what they do. It's because they can appeal to the emotion of the voters. They don't offer substance, but they can appeal to the emotion of the voters. So I think millennials, they're, I don't want to say they're selfish-minded, but they're very independent-minded. So I think a message of economic freedom and fiscal responsibility of the government getting out of their life and leaving choices and individual empowerment would compel millennials to come to the GOP. Some millennials favor gay marriage. Okay, I differ from that. But what about getting government out of marriage in its entirety? Okay, I believe that millennials will be welcoming to abolishing the death penalty because I think it's an inhumane act, and also it's not feasible. It's very expensive, and it leaves too much power in the hands of the state government. I think millennials will welcome a message of economic liberty and economic empowerment, and the government not telling them how much money they can keep, but them keeping their earnings that they worked hard for. So I think there's many ways that we can relate. If we make conservatism personal, if we make conservatism a lifestyle and not just mere policy positions, but if we can actually make it a lifestyle, if we can build relationships with people and not just a voter database, I think we will see the conservative movement grow, and not just grow, but grow at a rapid pace.
All right, Demetrius, can you tell everybody where we can buy your book, where we can find you on social media and everything?
Absolutely. You can purchase the book via Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can also go to Balcony 7, that's the number 7, balcony7.com. You'll find more information about my book. You can find me on Twitter at dminor85, and you can also find me on Facebook at Demetrius Minor.
Hey, he's a millennial superstar here, part of the Millennial Moments here on the Vito and Vito Show. The book is called Preservation and Purpose, The Making of a Young Millennial, a manifesto for faith, family, and politics. Hey, Demetrius Minor, you're fantastic. Keep up the good work and keep fighting the good fight. your friends here at the Vito and Vito Show love what you're doing. And when I finish this book, I'm telling you now, I want you to sign a copy. I want you to sign my copy of the book. I love it.
I would love to. It'd be an honor, my friend.
Awesome. Demetrius Minor, ladies and gentlemen, author of Preservation and Purpose. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Demetrius.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Take care, guys.
And that was Demetrius Minor, the millennial author of Preservation and Purpose.
A part of the Millennial Moments here on the Vito and Vito Show. Great book, Vito. Mm-hmm. I'm going to lend to you when I'm done. Just don't spit in it, would you? Because you have a...
I'll learn how to read first, then I'll let you know when to give it.
There you go. You got a bad track record of borrowing stuff.
Well, what did I borrow from you?
My dignity. It's that time of the week again. Forget about it. Moments of the week.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Paul, forget about it.
Yes, it's that time of the week again when Vito and Vito break down some of the craziest moments in the world. Not just politics, but the world. And in Brooklyn, we got a saying. It's called forget about it. It's when we see something that we just say, oh, my God, that really happened. And then Vito says to me, forget about it. Vito, what's the first forget about it moment of the week?
An 800-pound man got kicked out of the hospital for ordering pizza.
What's the problem there?
He was in this program. I was like, forget about it. I was like, really? He was in this program to help lose weight in Rhode Island, and I guess he wasn't allowed to eat pizza, and he ordered pizza. So now he's driving around with his father, trying to look for help.
So they left the hospital.
They kicked him out because he ordered pizza.
Because he ordered pizza. So he broke a code or something?
I guess he wasn't allowed to have pizza.
Well, that's not fair. Why would you make a rule that says you can't have pizza?
He's supposed to have hospital food in the hospital. Because he's 800 pounds.
Have you ever had hospital food?
I prefer it.
I prefer it. See, that's when you know. Forget about it. There's no way I believe that. Number 2.
In China, there was this thing called, quote-unquote, Carmageddon. There was a massive traffic jam. Thousands of people just abandoned their cars. They come back from this week-long holiday, and all of them decided to go at this one highway toll at the same time. And then they screw it. They just left. So there's pictures online of these cars just abandoned, like thousands just left on the road.
You see, people are just this special. Yes. People are absolutely. Why would you leave your car? You worked for it. That's your property, an extension of your life, and you just leave it because you don't want to sit in traffic. Chinese people.
It must have been pretty bad traffic.
They make
you
me
thought
laugh.
Traffic was bad here in New York.
You thought Chinese people drive bad. Did I go there? I went there.
There goes our Chinese listeners.
Yeah, all 3 of them. All right, Vito, who was that last? Forget about it. This show is chock full of racism, and
this is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. But it's out of love. It's out of love.
Yeah.
It's out of love.
Yes. At Indiana University, they suspended the fraternity Alpha Tau Omega.
Okay.
Because they released a video of one of their fraternity members surrounded by 80 other fraternity members doing sexual acts with paid sex workers.
What's the problem with that?
I'm just giving you the information on what happens. Don't shoot the messenger.
I can neither say this is a good thing nor say it's a bad thing.
But they're all gathered around this one guy doing certain things to a certain lady.
Oh, come on. All right. I'm not going to fight this. That's pretty cool. Good
there's a video. Oh, okay.
There's a video?
They definitely put it on like Pornhub or something, and the dean found it because the dean's on that website. And he's like, whoa, those are my students.
Well, you know what, Vito? I mean, okay, let's play a game. Ready? All right, so now let's play. Let's play a game.
All right, try me.
Okay, so now let's say you're the dean of this school, and you see all of these kids gathering around this certain member in the fraternity, this certain student, and another female student, and they're doing these acts on school grounds. What do you do?
Well, I would be pissed.
You're the dean. What do you do?
I would be pissed.
Why be angry?
I wasn't invited.
You.
Forget about it.
I wasn't included.
What is this?
You poor boy.
Please tell me the dean wasn't in a fraternity.
Well, I think...
Wait, didn't you try rushing for a frat?
I did. It didn't work out so well.
What happened?
It didn't work out so well. Huh?
Why didn't they take
the
you?
paddling hurt a lot. I wasn't a big fan of the whole paddling thing. Yeah, it wasn't.
It takes practice. This is why I told you. I got to paddle you.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
No,
we're not.
Well, that's why you didn't get in the fraternity.
We're not paddling each other.
Well, that's why you didn't get in, Vito. So don't blame me.
I'm not blaming
you.
I didn't.
I tried to help you.
Fraternities are cults, by the way.
They are.
They are. There's some freaky... As college students, I mean, we deal with this stuff all the time. We see fraternities and sororities. And I got no problem with sororities because it's a bunch of women. Literally. It's a bunch...
in one place.
It's great. It's like... Oh, God. Fraternities, on the other hand, are just like a bundle of testosterone. And they paddle each other. It's not my thing.
This is the best because I know all the people in the fraternities, and I'm not in it. So I don't get paddled, and I still go to the parties.
Do you know who...
It's a win-win.
Do you know who was in a fraternity? Fun fact.
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
You know which one he was in?
Which one was he in?
Teak.
What's that?
Tau Kappa Epsilon.
All right.
And our friends in it.
All right. Well, congratulations to
It's like
them.
the biggest fraternity out there.
You know, it's pretty cool. I mean, hey, Ronald Reagan was in a frat. It makes you second guess yourself when you didn't join a fraternity in college. It sucks because I was too busy reading.
I just want you to know that one of the tweets we put out was saying that we're talking about the Democratic debate coming up, but we're actually talking about fraternities and porn. So,
oh yeah.
So people try, let's hear about the Democratic debate, and we were talking about fraternity members.
We don't have a lot of time actually. We're gonna have to wrap this up. So
that's it. No more fraternity talk?
No, that's really it.
I'm gonna go join a sorority. You something like it hot.
Go. Yeah, that's it. Go ahead, Marilyn Monroe. Go don your best wig, Vito, and go join a sorority.
See, now they're talking about porn sites in the chat. Listen, type in
Oh, we're not doing this right now. All right, listen up. We want to welcome everybody for listening to the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Hashtag Webster for speaker. That's right. Hashtag Webster for speaker. Let's get Daniel Webster in the speakership. We need conservative reform. We're going to start with this guy. Give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Vito and Vito Show. Again, at Vito and Vito Show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And please check out lfnyc.com, www.lfnyc.com, the website for Liberty Fest NYC 2015, where Vito and Vito will be speaking Sunday at 5 p.m. about how the GOP can unlock the millennial vote. It's going to be a fantastic seminar. You're going to love it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Cannot wait to see how this goes down. The Vito and Vito Show signing off right here from the basement of the Empire State Building.
Because we can't afford the first floor.
The Vito and Vito Show in Brooklyn.
It's nothing but the truth.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washing washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.